If an inclusive school is committed to making the focus of assessment practices for and as student learning, then a shared understanding and collaboration in making assessment decisions is essential. Collaborative critical analysis and discussion of a student's work with another teacher can contribute to a deeper understanding of the student, along with insights into the individual teacher's teaching methods. Discussions regarding teaching topics amongst fellow staff is essential. Topics such as assessment tasks, assessment rubrics, curriculum documents, in addition to both unit and lesson plans, clarifies our beliefs and assumptions about student learning and assessment. Developing a shared vision about assessment is vital if we are to provide students with consistency of practices and scaffolded progression towards curriculum goals and student success. Collaboration will therefore involve students in their own assessment, including asking students what they thought about the assignment. For example, was it too easy? Was it too hard? Which areas did you struggle with? Did you feel any areas were too easy? Inquiring about other classes and asking their teacher if his or her students found it hard is also a good method of ensuring consistency in marketing. Collaboration can also extend to families and other professional members of the school communities. Working together and reaching shared decisions is essential if schools are committed to providing consistent and successful learning for students. Stringent adherence to these principles is hoped to improve students' overall results, in addition to the creation of a fair, non-discriminatory marking field.
By using an assessment for and as learning, students become more involved in their own learning according to their own individual styles of learning. Formative assessment or assessment for learning incorporates the learning needs of all students through constant communication between students and their teachers. In this case, the teacher is required to use varied approaches of feedback from the students to alter their teaching methods. From this, the teacher can collaboratively establish learning goals with the student and track the student's progress towards meeting those goals. From this then, we have assessment as learning. This involves the teacher and student working together to decide what criteria they will use to judge students' work. Assessment as learning then exists to recognize the student's current accomplishments and aim to constantly push the boundaries of their learning potential. This therefore puts the focus of assessment on the individual student and not the collective class. Assessment for and as learning therefore puts more of a focus on individual learning styles and aims to cater for these. The outcome is to encourage individual student success. An example of these assessment strategies may be for the teacher to consult the individual student and discuss some basic studying strategies according to their learning style. So if we have a rhythmic student trying to study for a science exam, an assessment for and as part of the student's learning may involve making rhythmic poetry to summarize key concepts. Following this may be a discussion with the student reflecting on whether or not that certain strategy had worked for the student and what they think they could change to improve their studying for improving their learning.
Different sets of beliefs and experiences are held by each individual teacher. Therefore, in order for assessment to be inclusive and authentic, a range of assessment is needed within our classrooms. As teachers, we need to consider the most inclusive assessment types for our classrooms. Inclusive, authentic, performance-based assessment are observation, rubrics, portfolios, student self-assessment, and student feedback. Observation is one of the most essential assessment techniques a teacher can use. Documenting observations over time are efficient for assessment as written records, and are helpful particularly when discussing student progress with their parents or guardians. Rubrics are an effective, inclusive classroom assessment tool. Rubrics can help students clarify goals and expectations before, during, and after the teaching and learning experiences have even taken place. Portfolio use for assessment encompasses constructivist teaching pedagogy, as it enables opportunities for students to self-direct and analyze their learning in socially embedded experiences and record them over a period of time. Self-assessment is essential as a means of assessment in an inclusive classroom, as ultimately it is our goal as teachers that our students can critically evaluate their learning and become independent and self-motivated lifelong learners. Students require meaningful feedback from their teacher and peers frequently and throughout all learning experiences. When students are given feedback, they critically reflect on their work, and as part of an inclusive learning environment, feedback enables students to participate in social discussions with peers and with the teacher about elements which will improve their learning. As teachers, we need to consider the most inclusive assessment types for our classrooms. These are observation, rubrics, portfolios, student self-assessment, and student feedback.